What's up, guys? It's Pardon the Ignorance podcast. We're back this week.
Nice to see you guys.
What's going on?
Nothing, man.
How's it going?
Just hanging out.
This week, we are joined by,
Who's
as
Harry?
always, Chris and Harry.
How y'all doing?
What's going on, bud?
Oh, not a lot, man. I just went out hunting.
Yeah. It definitely looked like it. We were like, we're going to start this week and just let Harry walk in on the pod.
Nice.
And think that we're not going.
Yeah.
But you hustled up a little too fast.
No problem. I have absolutely no problem eating while we're recording. I have this pizza, and during this podcast, I will eat this entire caramel cheesecake that I made. Here.
Very
Diet
nice.
So what's going on?
Hey, I can't wait till we all like get a small apartment together and you start cooking for us every night.
Mm-hmm. I definitely want to live in a retirement home with you guys.
Oh, dude, that'd be awesome. Just going around knocking knocking the fucking tennis balls off of those walkers. Hell yeah.
I just want to get a 1-bedroom apartment with you guys, get bunk beds, really do it up.
Triple stack them.
Triple stack them. Yeah. I get tops.
I'm not on the bottom.
We all know Chris is a bottom. So
power bottom from what I've heard. So what's going on this week, guys?
Nothing, man. Really, to be honest with you, I don't have anything going on. I guess we could just, wrap it up.
Sounds great.
All right then.
All right. Have a week.
No, actually, this week we are gonna try to stick to a more formatted format, I guess.
Yeah, I guess if we have to.
Yeah. I don't know if we're shitting the bed or if our listeners have been shitting the bed, but numbers have been looking really good lately.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But sticking to the format, let us go to the first topic.
Yeah.
What are we going with?
Most importantly, everybody knows it's German National Beer Day, so I came prepared.
I thought it was international.
I have a Dutch, or no, yeah, Danish. There we go.
It's actually because of the.
Pepsi.
It's actually the anniversary of the Reinheitsgebot.
Is that about being pure blood Aryan?
Yes, something like that, but it has to do with the beer as well.
Okay.
So I thought
They do like them white.
So I thought
They like them hell.
I thought I'd break out the 1.5 liter tonight and see how that goes.
That's a big boy mouse.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Stole it. Got it from a festival.
That
was not a good night. So
I like the fact that it's heavy, so you're actually burning calories while you're drinking.
Yeah, it's what's important.
Exactly.
Although I realized I started picking it up with my left hand, and it's, right hand's a beat hand, so we know how that goes. So.
Yeah, but you know what though? It's good that you switch off with the left and right. With you're picking up your beer with that because you don't want to be Popeye in one arm and olive oil in the other.
Got the big forearm over here. The other one's like that.
It's my good hand. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's actually the top of the forearm that's a strong point. It doesn't matter. So what are we going to talk about tonight, Bobby?
Actually, we are gonna talk about with our good friend Chris going active again. And they're shipping over how many more soldiers to your area, Chris?
To here, I think that they're allocated to 500.
500. How many are there now? Do you know?
The actual number right now, I have no clue.
It's a lot, isn't it?
I know it. At our strongest point, I think we were at almost 30,000 here with family members.
In V-Spawn.
Family members, civilians, and everything. Yeah.
And reservists or no?
Yeah, we were all included in there together.
That's a lot.
As of 2019, there's 56,000 soldiers there. 56,000 soldiers and family members.
That's a lot.
Wiesbaden?
Yeah.
Wow, that's like the entire population of Gießen.
Yeah. a
Yeah.
lot.
That is crazy. Well, and actually, that's what
That's
we're going to
something-
talk about tonight.
Yeah, that's something that I want to bring up later too, when we get to that point, as far as drawing down, as
Yeah.
what our high point was back in the day. See,
I know,
what was
like in
it?
the 80s.
Baumholder was 3 Americans to 1 German. That's how many people there were.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
So it's actually, sorry guys, it's actually the Wiesbaden Mainz area combined, but it's Wiesbaden is right next door to Mainz and vice versa, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I consider it the same base.
It
might as well
is.
be.
It's all
It's
the
all
same
one now.
community.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like Ramstein. Ramstein is also it's like an American city on German soil. It's massive.
Yeah. Well, occasionally we get signed in and get to go shopping there,
Yep.
or actually, technically, just use the food court.
Mhm.
There's actually there's a guy Mila, her best friend, his husband, he was stationed in where is that? Over Bad Kissingen, Schweinfurt,
Yeah. Yeah.
before, literally as they were closing down. He was there to get it done. And I went there a few times. That place was super tiny.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like super tiny. It was just like a God, what do you call those people that do the mortars and shit like that?
Do the mortars?
Yeah.
Mortar men.
Artillery.
What's it called?
No.
No, like
Mortarmen.
artillery.
Artillery.
like, Artillery. Like
we
that's
got
what
you.
they're,
It's an artillery base. You're right.
yeah,
You're
it's an
right.
artillery base. Sorry.
That's where it's a cool story. That's where I almost ended up instead of Gießen. But because of Chris, not Tiny Chris, but my friend Chris. Chris is my friend, but you get what I'm saying. My other friend Chris.
The real friend. Yeah, we got
The
you.
real friend. The real friend. Actually, since we went in the buddy program, which means you go in with somebody you know, you have to end up in your first duty station together. So we ended up going to Gießen instead.
That's awesome.
But it is
Now,
actually.
Chris, were you ever here in Gießen or no?
Nah, he's a fuck.
Nope.
Okay.
I was in
Um,
Hanau and then in Kitzingen.
Okay.
Yeah, Hanau's where you met the love of your life, or before, right?
Yeah, that was afterwards. That was once I was already in the reserves.
Oh, okay. I thought that was before you went to Iraq.
God fucking damn it.
So, Chris,
just
what made you go active again? Is that just something that you have to do because
He wanted to be a
I-
real weekend warrior.
I hate my bosses. I hate my bosses, and it's included in the contract that they have to let me go.
Sticking it to the man. That's what I like to hear.
Plus, actually, from a financial standpoint, you'd be fucking retarded to not do it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like you'd be dumb shit to not do it.
Or as Bobby likes to say, a big dum dum.
Big old dum dum.
but does that mean you're going to be sent down range again?
No. I
There's re-
am
That's what
In
they told him.
no. I'm in an extremely mission essential position with what I'll be doing.
Okay.
And really, right now, there's not really any places to go down range too, really.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
until-
Yeah.
Not until Mr. Alzheimer's decides to go and do some shit.
Syria is going to be his playground.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't. Yeah. All right. You're probably right. Okay.
So we're like what 25 minutes in. The people aren't gonna. They really don't understand what our topic is tonight. So we're actually going to talk about the effects of military being deployed overseas and when they withdraw, what that does to the communities, the economy, and what it does for the people that have to live with it on a daily basis. And I think
So-
it's good is because, you know, two of you, we're split 50-50. Two of you guys were military, two of us are not. So we've lived it although all four of us have lived the same, the same thing when Gießen got shut down and everything, what it did to the economy. And so that's kind of like what we're going to talk about tonight.
Yeah. Basically going to talk about what happens when a military man pulls out. So
It fucks a whole lot of people.
So I can't touch Gießen because I don't know like how much of an effect that had with the soldiers leaving, but
It was
I will
massive.
be able to touch Kitzingen because I've been back to Kitzingen ever since we left too.
Okay. See, I came literally, like I came here on vacation. The military was still here. A lot of soldiers were still here. And then when we actually moved here, they were already gone. But I know people that worked like on the for AVs, they were still working there up until last year, I think.
Yeah.
Or a couple years ago, maybe. And from my like I always used to think people were joking and lying to me. They said as soon as that base closed and all, they all left, except for the people that, because there were a lot of soldiers that did stick around, when they got out, a lot of them. You guys are perfect examples of that. They were saying that the economy was immediately just 60% gone.
Well, here's a little example for you. First off, the AFES distribution center, which was the last thing open in Gießen Depot, closed in 2017. So they relocated to Germersheim, which is south. So 2017 is the last time the AFES was really there. So seems like it was just yesterday, but they've completely redone that place, and it's kind of sad for me to see it because I have so many memories on that army base. And they've done different things to it now. Some things, anyways. So they've done different things to it. True story. As a soldier, especially as a young soldier, I'm not talking about one that got married. I'm talking about one that just got there in 2002. You literally, from Monday to Friday, some people did, but a lot of us never left the base. Really, you didn't really have to.
Right.
You had to get up early anyways. It's like 6:30 PT formation is not fun. So most people kind of, chilled out. But Thursday nights, you went out. So Thursday nights, you went out to a place called the Fun Club, which is close to Raskishen. And we're talking about, there must have been 100 soldiers there. Easy. Just getting in there, right? Just American soldiers and German women in there. That's literally what it was. So like a young soldier, a private, would get his paycheck and he'd be broke. You get paid 2 times a month, and he'd be broke come like the 7th or 8th, already broke, and have to make it another week because you go out and they used to give you these little cards, these 4x3 cards.
Yeah.
And that's how you paid for a drink.
You got to stamp it, and then you pay at the end.
It would go quick, quick. And to get a new card, you have to go pay for it. And if you're from the States and you see a different currency, a lot of times you don't really equate what the thing was. And at that time, we called it monopoly money because the euro had just come out, and it was like $1 equaled like €1, like 46 cents or 25 cents. It was ridiculous. So like, you were like, "Whoa, man, for $1, I get like $1.50." So like you were going nuts. So you go and you'd spend. Next thing you know, it's the 7th or 8th, and you're fucking selling your PlayStation to your buddy for $100 because you got to make it to the 15th. Like, dude, I'm going to tell you, man, it was a crazy fucking life. Like, it was nuts.
Yeah.
Some of the best times I've ever had. You're young. You really generally had no bills. And for me during that time, it's like 2002 to 2005. So there's like no like cell phone contracts. Nobody was cared about getting an iPhone. Like you had these, the old school Nokias, the ones you could like throw in a nuclear blast and they still work. I still have a phone from that time, and I swear to God, it's still charged. Like I think it's at 91% right now. That thing, charge it one time, is good to go. Like crazy. And so you didn't have any bills. Like I had no bills. Like I didn't even have to really pay for food.
No.
You know what I mean? So like, what are you spending your money on? A lot of times you just spend it on booze. Like,
and that's the thing. Like you guys had all the creature comforts on base, but then you guys want to go out, you want to have fun.
What do you mean by creature comforts? Because like it was like we had a bowling alley.
No, that's not what I meant. I mean, like like the PX and commissary, like places for you to actually go shopping and stuff
No,
like
that
that?
was a difficult point. That was a difficult point. I was going to get to that. Some bases had all that on it. Our base did not. The
You had like a
actual
little tiny shopette.
we had a shopette on Geeson Depot. That's it. Like the PX, you know, the area you see, like where they had the PX at before, you had to walk up the hill all the way to get there. And that's a fucking walk. If you look where our barracks were to there, that's a serious walk. It's like 2 miles.
Yeah, but I mean, but that's the thing. Like you had the
And no
that kind of
commissary.
access.
But no commissary. The commissary is actually where McDonald's is on Schiffenberger Tall. The commissary used to be over there.
Really?
Yeah. So to get over there, you had to try to catch the military bus, which only functioned 3 times a day. And here's the fucked up point. The military bus went at 9 in the morning. Guess when your first formation is? 9 o'clock. So the next one went at 12 o'clock. Guess when your lunch is? 12 o'clock
12
to
o'clock.
12:30. 12:30. But the bus didn't come back till 1:15. So you have 1300 or 1 o'clock formation. So you can't go then. It closed at 18:30. No shit. And if you got out on time at 16:30, you could make it. But the bus to take you there left at 16:30.
Oh,
So a lot of times, like, and you could get your driver's license here fairly easy. Yeah. And a lot of us would buy like a 500 euro beater. It's like an old school Golf. It's actually where I learned to drive clutch. I didn't know how to drive clutch when I got here. So I learned I burnt the shit out of a clutch on a Renault Twingo. And I learned how. But you bought a beater. But a lot of times the beater were like Beamers that other soldiers bought, and they just tried to hurry up and get rid of.
Yeah.
You get them fairly cheap. So you get like a 3 Series BMW for 1,000 euros.
Yeah.
That was only like 12 years old. Like if you think about it, it's like not that old. So I'm telling you, it was a crazy life. But what I was trying to get to is a lot of soldiers spent their money on the economy.
exactly.
And they spent it going to bars, going to discos, going to restaurants, there used to be a Walmart here too, but that was bought out by Real. Just Walmart's philosophy and things didn't work in Germany. It's
No.
one of the only countries in the world that's failed in. Germany's one of them. So,
Surprise, surprise.
well, let's not get into that, but Germany has that economy rule that you have to have so much stuff from Germany in the store. And that doesn't function well with Walmart.
No.
And so they spent a lot of money. So when the soldiers left here, and it's not just the soldiers, it's families too, when they left here,
Exactly.
because a lot of soldiers were married to Germans.
Right.
And
But-
they, of course, kept their same habits of buying at stores they know, but now that's with them, you could say American money now.
Right. But see, what I meant by that though is like that you guys had all the creature comforts. Like it might have been a pain in the ass and harder for you to get to it, but you did have the ability to go shopping tax free for all your food,
Yeah,
like all your
absolutely.
necessities.
Mhm.
Everything that you needed, you had within on base. How far away it was, you know what I mean? That's a different
Yeah.
thing. But the thing of the matter is where were you guys dumping most of your money? Into the party scene, the club scene, the bars, everything. And
Yep.
that's where, because if you look at that, like where does a place make more money? If you go grocery shopping at fucking Reva, or if you go to the Woodland for a night out, the Woodland is going to be, that's where they're going to make that's where you're going to spend most of your money.
I didn't go to the Woodland.
No, I just use it as a stupid example because
no,
that's
no.
the only, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I didn't go to the Woodland. And the only reason I didn't, they had great drinks there. I'm not gonna lie. Like I get what you're saying. I just wanted to top this off by saying, because there was American bartenders there, they hooked your drinks up.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only problem was at the Woodland Club, you weren't gonna get any butts if you looked like me. Yeah.
You weren't going to get any
Awkward
what?
silence.
No, you're not gonna get any butt if you look like me. Our
You're not
buddy-
gonna get asked, Bobby.
Oh, okay.
our buddy Kim would have got some butt in the Woodland, but not Dave.
I know.
Yeah, no. So, but it was a great place to go. It had great music, great food. They had great food, but great drinks, of course. But yeah, but that's where you're gonna go. Like, and plus,
Exactly.
here's the other thing. You could go to the DFAC, which is the cafeteria for soldiers, or you could buy food. But the problem was we didn't have any ability to cook in our area. You had like a common cook area, but nobody really used it.
Right.
So like a lot of our money went to like, now that I think about it, man, I wish I was
That's
21.
why the
I was 21. So
that's why the economy hurt so bad when you guys all pulled out.
You want to
Because it's-
hear a crazy number though? So
What's that?
when we were in the highlight, I want to say it's the highlight. I'm gonna have to look at it again and see if that's still active. 40 million euro a year is what we would invest in the German economy.
Jesus Christ. That's insane. But dude, like, here's the thing. I mentioned Mila's best friend. They were living, he was stationed at Schweinfurt, but they lived in a city called Bad Kissingen. Look it up.
Mhm.
It is a gorgeous city.
Mhm.
Absolutely gorgeous. So we would go over there and they had a massive house there. Because I didn't realize this. Officers aren't allowed to live on base.
Back then, maybe. Now they
This
are.
this was like a few years ago. Like this is God. When I say few years ago, it's probably been like 7 years.
Mhm.
mhm.
But they had to, he lived. It was like a good 40 minutes away from like where the base was, or half hour, something like that. Doesn't matter. We went over, and Russians being Russians, the girls, they wanted to go to a dance club. So let's go dancing, right? Every time we went out with this dude, it did not matter where we went. If it was a restaurant or a club, he would buy a bottle of Gentleman Jack or Single Barrel. Do the math on that. Because if you
Yeah.
go to fucking any other club, like if you go to a club and just say, I want a bottle of just regular shit Jack Daniels that costs you 12 euro, you're going to
Mhm.
pay close to 100 euro for that bottle.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We were somewhere, like, he was pissed. They didn't have any. He wanted to leave. He immediately wanted to leave. He's like, nah, I'm not into this place. We're like, dude, they're going to have other whiskey. He goes, nah, it ain't the
Hey,
same.
to,
I'm good.
to follow, what I want to do is follow up on what Chris had to say, because there was a recent study done 6 years ago about the actual, how much does Germany benefit from U.S. military bases. To be fair, over the last 10 years, Germany has spent almost €1 billion on U.S. troops. Okay, that's Germany spending their own money on U.S. troops. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, but do you understand? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a trade-off, right?
Yep.
Because Germany definitely benefits from the troops' presence here.
Well, that's also because they don't. That's with the whole NATO agreement.
So yeah, so they've spent 650 million euros on in the past 10 years on construction measures for U.S. soldiers, and a further 350 million euros have gone towards so-called defense costs. So it means like aid payments and things like that, and property, and not paying the U.S. not paying taxes on the land they use, right?
Yeah.
So that's also right now. This is of 6 years ago, so it's not current. This is the nearest one they've done. There's approximately 35,000 troops, American troops in Germany still. 35,000, which is definitely a hell of a lot less than there used to be. But those troops create close to, the US will spend close to $8 billion in Germany. Not troops, that's the US government, right? So, but the troops spend here $2.347 billion a year estimated. So that's a lot of money, spending almost $2.5 billion in the German economy. That's a lot of money. 2.5.
Well, I wonder if
Actually,
they're considering that as far as the soldiers paying for their rent and everything like that too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that's technically the government that's paying for it.
so
It's not us.
Yeah.
right. Here's something from April 13th, 2021 from stripes.com. There's 35,000 troops in Germany, but
Yeah.
that's just the troops. That doesn't include reservists. This is just active, and it does not include family members and
Or
the civilian
civilians.
workers.
Yep.
Exactly.
Do they really
That's
count
still a
though?
lot, dude.
Do they-
It's
I know, I'm just fucking around, man.
yeah,
But it's
that's crazy.
And what's cool is the state that really, benefits the most is Rhineland-Pfalz. That's the one. Or Rhineland-Pfalz. Is it Rhineland-Pfalz? Yeah, it's Rhineland-Pfalz.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. That's home to half the US soldiers stationed in Germany.
Yeah, like I said, that base is like a fucking city.
Dude, 18.5 million, 18,500 military personnel, 12,000 US civilian employees, and 25,000 family members. But the big number is 7,200 Germans are paid from the US government for their services as well.
Yeah.
So that's also direct money into the economy. So I can see why this makes sense now. Maybe you heard of this, Harry. This makes sense why the actual governor of that state was so hard going at them to stay and not pull out any troops from there. You
Oh,
know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of things benefit, or a lot of people benefited from having soldiers here. Not only the nightclub scene, also like if you had any kind of like specialty sports equipment shop that you couldn't get through your sports store, because I remember that my dad was kind of frustrated looking for certain parts like cycling equipment or whatever
Yeah.
that they didn't have at the sports store. You had to go through a German shop to get it. And 9 times out of 10, especially recreational sports, the Germans are pretty much like the leaders of the pack when it comes to tech. So
Yeah.
most people, smaller shops like that, they really felt it when the Americans left.
You know who's making a ton of money? Moving companies.
Oh, of course.
Also,
Jesus. Those guys,
Oh yeah.
they packed it and moved my whole apartment when I got out of the military, moved the whole thing in 3 hours.
Yep.
Packed the whole thing. They had these little fucking crazy slider things. They slide under the boxes and you didn't have to do a damn thing. You know what I mean? They came in and did everything for us. It was lovely, man. Good.
I did a Diddy move myself. Do it yourself. I got paid more money, man.
That fits you so much. That fits you so much.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
I like you. Like, here's the thing. Like, you could have told us that story without telling us that story. We
Yeah.
know, bud.
We
We
know.
know.
So another thing with what Harry was talking about too.
Chris, we get it.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going something else. Go ahead.
So in Kitzingen, I want to say we were like 80% of that town's income while we were there. And now a lot of the shops look like a fucking ghost town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's like, when we take the train from Gießen to Frankfurt, you go through, what is it? Langons? Did they used to have a place or no? Kirschgoins.
Kirschgoins.
The Rock.
Yeah, they used to have a place. Fucking nobody's heard of that fucking city since they pulled out.
Mhm.
You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
want to
used
know
be-
who did benefit though? Is Würzburg, the Würzburg University Clinic.
Why?
Before Würzburg closed down, the army decided to invest a shitload of money in the Würzburg hospital, new technology and everything, renovate the whole building, and then they just handed it all over to the university clinic. Everything.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
they did that a couple in a couple places in Franconia, I think, because Landstuhl is another one. Used to be, I think, a big American hospital, and as far as I know, they put a lot of money into that and then just handed it over as well, because that's where my dad always got sent to.
Landstuhl's still active.
Oh, it still is. Damn.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah.
it's connected to Ramstein.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
See, then it's not even Franconia though.
No, it's actually the first stop for most soldiers who get injured in Afghanistan.
Mhm.
It's the first place they're sent to because the most advanced. But can we do me a favor, because this really irritates me? Can we please stop acting like everything that America does is the best technology in the world? Gets on my nerves.
Oh, no.
Like no,
I'm not
I get
saying
what you're
that.
saying. I get what you're saying, but people do that. Like, well, the Americans left their technology here. Shut up. No, you didn't. Like, it's not. I hate some people like Germany.
Yeah, but you know what though? Here's the thing though. German engineering is not what it was 20 years ago. You can't even fucking compare it.
Yeah,
In-
because they have a lot
for-
of it manufactured in the U.S.
Yeah.
pertaining to what?
Everything.
Oof, Bobby. Mm-mm. No, it's still the number one place for aerospace stuff that's in here. A lot of stuff. I will give you this. It's not
Okay,
manufactured here,
aerospace. Okay, yeah.
but it's not manufactured here anymore. That I give you. But it definitely is engineered here. That's true. It's very much so. But they send it. What they do is here. I'll give you a quick example. because I'm not going to disagree with you because it's not where it used to be. Okay, we can agree on that. But what they
Yes.
do here is they usually manufacture the base, they engineer the piece, right? Say they're making,
Yeah.
and for my business, say they're making some kind of airplane light. They'll design it here. They'll have India do what I call it's better, good way to put this, the routine work, the routine building work.
Yeah, of course.
So they'll make the outside
labor.
piece, cheap labor,
Get ready to say,
but they'll say,
sidestep the word slave labor.
so they bring it back
Fucking
to Germany.
sweatshopping it. That's how they do it.
They'll bring it back to Germany. They'll inspect it, make sure it's the standard. Then any kind of intricate work that needs to be done will be done here. And it's not that Germany can't do the mundane work. They can do that. It's just much more expensive to do it here per worker. It's factual.
No, yeah, I agree with you. And I understand exactly what you're saying, but I'm also in the manufacturing aspect and engineering side of things. And from my opinion, also, like, not just with that, like, go buy a car, like, go buy a BMW from late 90s, early 2000s. Same with the Mercedes. Go buy one now. It's all plastic and shit on the inside. It is so cheap, and it's just it's shoddy how it was all thrown together. It is not like, okay, the engineering, okay, it's still German engineering, but quality is taking a big hit to what it used to be.
I don't know. I just put
I
420,000 K on my Audi. So
What
that
year
thing's
is your
holding up
Audi?
pretty well.
What year is your Audi?
2009.
Okay.
all right, dude. My Beamer's 2009, dude. Fist bump, bro. Boom.
But that's what I'm talking about, though.
Bobby,
You know what I mean?
Bobby, hold on a second. Compared to who?
But no, I'm not talking about the motor.
No. I get your engineering point, but I'm saying, but if German quality has gone down, whose quality has gone up?
No, but everybody's cutting corners.
The
I'm not just saying.
6%, the 6% of Harry. That's who's picked up.
No, actually, no.
China. No.
One of the biggest failures in the aerospace industry is China had tried to come out with their own airplane 10 years ago. And basically, they pretty much stole the blueprints from Boeing. They had people working there who pretty much stole blueprints and tried the things. They tried to put an airplane together. Never got off the ground. Yeah. So China's not a build it. It's a build it or it's a copycat culture. It's not a
Right.
engineer
Well,
your own
that's true.
shit.
But to go back to what Harry just said, he put that many Ks on his motor, on his car, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's the thing, though. Look up when your motor was designed and engineered. It hasn't changed since the fucking early 2000s.
I don't think so, especially that one. This one has the new common rail diesel technology. I don't think it was that.
Yeah. Look when it came out, bud. After like 2005, that's when shit really started to deteriorate. And quality, like the engineering kind of stayed the same, but however, quality really suffered. Like how stuff was, they parts were changed out for cheaper things. That's why if you look at a 1.8 liter from the Volkswagen group, which is also Audi, Volkswagen, Porsche, everybody, they have a 1.8 liter turbo gasoline motor. Yeah. That was one of the best fucking motors in the world up until 2009 and 2010. Then it took a shit and it has not been the same since. It got to the point where they had to say, what?
Okay, so 2007 BMW won engine of the year, right?
Yes.
Turned around 2015 Germany, so BMW won engine of the year for its 2015 motor.
You got that wrong, because take that motor and look when it was engineered, though, Dave. Yeah, I agree with you. I love BMW. BMW makes one of the best motors. However, when was it put into production? When was it engineered? You're talking about a motor from the fucking 90s, dude.
Talking about a motor from 2014
Which motor?
for the i8.
Oh, that's a fucking electric one. That's
No, it's
something
not.
different.
It's a 1.5 liter gasoline motor.
For an i8, which is an all-electric vehicle.
It's not
No.
all electric. Bobby, I'm looking at it. Hold on. I'm just, God, also, Volkswagen in the last 10 years also has a engine of the year. Like
It's-
when it comes to engineering, Germany does know what they're doing. I know it doesn't seem that way. And I take what you're saying, that the quality has gone down from what it used to be. Craftsmanship isn't what it used to be. I will
yes,
grant
but
you
also
that.
German engineering. And what I meant in general, German engineering in total is not what it used to be. Like back in the day, oh, you have that. Well, it's from Germany, German engineering. Nobody fucking does that anymore. That's all I'm saying.
Well, used to be made in Germany. It's considered quality. Now it's engineered in Germany. It's considered quality.
Yeah, and fucking produced by some Sigeuner or gypsy in fucking Romania.
A lot of times,
We're canceled.
I was thinking that too.
That's
Yikes.
okay.
Is it though? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is.
I have a lot of customers in Romania, dude. Trust me. I know what I deal with this on a daily basis.
Oh,
Mont Blanc. Did you guys know, like Mont Blanc, those crazy, ridiculously expensive pens?
Yeah.
It's a French company.
I wouldn't have guessed by
Guess
the
where
name
they're
Mont Blanc.
made.
Shit.
Guess where they're made.
Yeah,
I'll
dude,
give you a
myself a
guess. I
rocket-
just mentioned their country.
oh.
Oh,
But-
man, I love me my Mount Blanc pens.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
They make good
So what
cologne
did you
too.
just find, Dave?
nothing. I don't want to. I just wanted to show you that I wasn't bullshitting you, Bobby.
Okay, so it's an electric hybrid. Okay, yeah, that's
Exactly
fine.
what I fucking said, guys.
No, hold on.
I'm shutting it down. I'm
Look at
shutting
the
it down.
no. Hold on. Pull that back up. Pull that back up.
All right.
What is the name of that car?
I8.
Because I can't see.
Yep.
BMW i8. 2015, its 3-cylinder engine would be crowned the overall international engine of the year. So
Okay.
what did Dave do? He looked up when that car was engineered, 2014.
Yeah, that's fine.
No,
Yeah,
I was
but
just
that's-
fucking with you, Bobby. I just like to
Yeah,
get you riled up.
that's. I know, but it's also like you sidestep the point. You know what I mean? Like that's one thing.
I just gave you Golf and BMW.
Golf.
Yeah, their engine won Volkswagen Golf's engine won International Engine of the Year. And I know Volkswagen is a German car.
Yes.
So you got Toyota, which has always got good engineering and craftsmanship.
Yes.
And then you got that one. Polo GTI.
Okay.
So, I mean, and then you got the one from BMW. But this one is from the E46 BMW M3. So that's older.
Exactly. That
2008
3.2 liter, that motor's been around for 20 years.
Yeah, of course. That's why I just gave you credit and said it's an older motor. So, Bobby, I mean, we
Yes.
had our buddy Harry buy a Tesla and he could have just bought a Ferrari for the same cost.
Yeah, pretty much. But you know, it's
Actually,
Italian. They rust
Harry-
easy. I had a Fiat, and that's basically the same.
What
So-
you could have bought, you could have bought that new Hummer, that electric Hummer.
We saw that last week after the pod. We were looking at that.
Yep.
Oh,
And
really?
that was, that's a beautiful car.
It is fucking ridiculous.
It's a beautiful car.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I looked at that Bronco that I told you guys that they have
Yeah.
on post.
No, you
It
fucking
is-
didn't. No, you didn't.
Yes.
Just go. I'm just trying to argue tonight.
I don't know, man. It's not really mine, like actually seeing it in person. I
I'd
wanna
rather
see
have an older
this
Bronco.
other one. Yeah.
If you let me
If you have
ask you
to
guys something.
choose, if you have to choose, the Durango looks a whole lot better and around the same price.
Let me ask you guys a quick question just to rile things up a little bit. What do you think about our current president pulling the troops out of Afghanistan? What's our thoughts?
Chris, you're usually so vocal. Why do you have nothing to say?
Huh?
Yeah.
Huh? No, but here's the thing. Like,
I
back
thought-
onto what we were talking about, with
I just thought of this earlier because I know Chris has to be careful about what he says here.
So I can do
Yeah.
this. Wait,
But you know what though? That is a good question to ask. The reason why is because we talked about what it does for, in like, yeah, this is considered still like when you're here, you're deployed here, but it's not like an actual deployment, is it?
No,
we call it-
it's
you're-
actually
you're stationed.
you're actually a duty station. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if-
Okay. So it's a duty station, but you're still
Mhm.
deployed, or does it
Well,
still
no,
count
okay,
as a
nowadays-
deployment?
Hold up, Dave. Hold up. Nowadays, yes. As of this year, they are able to consider this a deployment.
Fucking touchy feely army. I swear to fucking
Wow.
God.
And it is no longer called a combat patch.
What?
What does that mean?
So when when you deploy, you get a prestigious patch. It's basically who you deploy with. You wear it on your right side. And yes, that's what Dave and I earned for being in Iraq.
You fucking earned it.
Yes, I did, dickhead. And now I can't. I'd have to look it up and see what the hell it's called now. But it's
This is the motherfucker that was on my shoulder when I was in Iraq. So I still have it.
mine's still attached to the DCUs.
Yeah. But this honestly, all jokes aside, this patch really honestly means something. At least to me it does.
Yeah.
Some guys are like, oh, I got it, whatever. But to me it meant something.
Okay, so so that's and that's different now. You don't get that anymore.
Well, it's not called that anymore. It's called something else. I'd have to look it up and let me see if I can find it. Can you still see me?
No,
No.
Oh fuck.
don't worry about it. Just look it up, dude. It's fine. It's all right.
Um,
You're giving us a break from your face. It's fine.
Fuck you.
It's one of those things where if you get it, like it, a lot of guys got it, and like obviously when Iraq kicked off, since Afghanistan's been going, but it's become fewer and fewer because I can't remember what year that Obama said no more troops in Iraq. What year we pulled out? Somebody else would have to look that up. But from that point on, not a lot of guys were getting combat patches unless you were in Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
So some soldiers complained that they felt it was unfair
Fucking
because they were
participation
because they were
trophies. God
because they
damn
were
it.
because they were looked down upon because they didn't have one.
Mhm.
But when I first came in, not a lot of soldiers had them except for the guys that were in the first Gulf War, right? Because
Yeah.
or if you were in Kosovo.
Yeah.
So not everybody had them then, and it's just something to say. Hey, I was in combat. I may know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But
But
as long as
Hold
you,
on.
I can't remember how long you were. I think it's 90 days. I don't quote me, but if you spend so much time in an overseas theater, which Germany was never considered that, in a combat area where your life could be in danger, which obviously not Germany, then you got a combat patch.
But my dad had one. He had, I think, 3rd Armor Division. He had that same tank, and it's
Mhm.
at Spearhead.
Yep.
And he never went anywhere except for Germany. Well, he did have one day in Vietnam, yeah, but that doesn't count.
Hang on. So back then, that was a different time frame. That was the third ID combat patch, or not third ID. The 3rd Armored Division was what the fuck was that for? Was that during the freaking Cold War?
Must have
As
been.
far as the folded gap and everything.
Yep. Yeah,
There
you
were
were
people that
considered.
were authorized.
Yeah, I know what
because
Chris is
this
talking
was
about now, yeah.
this was an escalated area.
Yeah, that's when East Germany was alive and well.
Yep.
So it was considered a combat post. That makes sense. Yeah.
But the point I was trying to make is, we talked about what it was like, in a non-combat area when the troops pull out, what it does to the economy. But now when you're talking about an actual combat zone, what does that do to that area when the troops pull out?
I don't see the economic. You mean from an economic
Old me
perspective?
would say
No,
who would give a
from-
fuck.
What?
I said the old me would say who would give a fuck. the new me, we invest a shitload of money in
That's
there.
exactly,
The only
dude.
thing is, we do not teach them how to maintain. I don't know if it's changed.
Exactly. I have
In Afghanistan, we actually donated a shitload of brand new John Deere tractors to Afghanistan and forgot to teach the Afghanis how to repair them.
Yep.
So once they broke down, they would just sit in the field.
my I had a buddy, he was a civilian contractor in Iraq. He was making like 270 grand a year being a fucking electrician. And
Yeah.
that's crazy. Like if you think about that, that's insane.
It's not though. It's not,
I
though.
know, but like for me, who's like an act, like who's
Yeah.
a full-on civilian that has no
Yeah.
idea what any of that
Mm.
is, that to me, dude, that's a lot. And like when you start pulling those kind of people out and you pull everybody out, then like to me, is it kind of like all the work and progress that you guys have strived for? You basically just fucking said, okay, we're not going to do this anymore and just throw it away.
Bobby, you don't remember me talking to you in 2011? I almost left. But Susie at the time begged me not to do it. I almost went to Afghanistan to do telephone work.
Yeah.
To run telephone lines at Army air bases, or to at air bases and military bases, and they were going to pay me $170,000 for the year.
Shit.
Yeah, exactly, and it would have been tax free.
Oh,
Tax free, and to a certain point, I can't remember how much.
100,000, first 100,000.
Yeah,
The guy, my next door neighbor, the old guy, like if we're sitting at my garden house and you look at that white house right next to us, he worked for an American company for like 30 some years where he was only in like war areas like in Iraq, Kuwait, everywhere where they just did road repair.
yeah.
And he made so much money doing that.
My buddy,
His-
the one that I worked with in Naples, he got this job with this company and he told me about it here. And he
Yep.
was like, yeah, you should come in. I've done the last 3 years, got to go home for a total of about 45 days during this time. That's all he went home for. He was
Yeah.
married, had a couple kids, but he made close to $650,000.
Yep.
Only spent 50,000 of it the whole time he was there. He
Yep.
told his wife, basically, this is how much you get. So he stocked away close to 500,000. And when he went back home, he bought his house cash.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
for 3 years, he set himself up. I mean, you can't beat that. But
No.
what I want to say before you go is I think one thing I would have struggled with, Bobby, and I'm dead serious, is the reason I almost didn't go is, well, I didn't go was mainly because of Susie, but the other reason is that the problem with being a civilian contractor in Afghanistan is you can't carry a weapon. You can't carry a weapon.
Exactly. And that's the thing. You're not like my buddy who's doing it in Iraq. He wasn't basically on military installations. He was like full on doing civilian work.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you had people that were there, like they were your escorts, but the numbers were not in your fucking favor.
No. That's what my friend of mine was telling me. They had to go base to base and he'd be part of these convoys. And of course, he'd be sitting in the back of a Humvee.
Yeah.
There's only 4 seats in a Humvee. So you got to sit one corner.
Yep.
And he would bitch and complain sometimes because they put him on the left side of the Humvee. And the problem is you have a driver on the left side who really can't get to his weapon. Chris will tell you this. It's very difficult unless you have an M4 or something small. And of course, he's not allowed to carry one. So the whole left side of the Humvee is exposed except for the gunner on top, if there was a gunner on top. So, and he was in the military before. So he was very, like, hey, if something goes down, somebody throw me a gun. And he said the Army guys are really cool, especially if they had a gunner, because the gunner has his personal weapon and he also has either a 60 on top or a 249 or something of that sort. Basically a machine gun for those who don't know what that is.
Yeah, up on the turret.
Yeah, on the turret up top. And he was like, hey, if something kicks off, here's my weapon. You take it. And he's like, fuck that. I don't care if I get in trouble. I'm popping off. You ain't getting me.
Yeah, exactly.
But it makes me sweat now thinking about it. Honestly, I'm sweating. Like that would be a nightmare for me because I don't know. One thing I'll tell you is like that was one of my biggest fears when I was in Iraq is getting captured. I did not want to be You know,
Yep.
once they're on the internet, forever on the internet. You know, I didn't want my daughter at the time to, you know, what happened to my dad? Oh, your dad got his fucking head chopped off or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they never found him. That's also something, man. They
Was
never
that
find you.
something? Was that something that you guys drilled
Yes.
for?
Yes.
Because I just watched a docu series about this British pilot who got shot down because somebody had the bright idea of flying daytime low altitude attacks with a freaking tornado.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
I know what you watched. It was on. Was it on Disney Plus?
it wasn't. I watched it on YouTube. It might have been on
Yeah,
Disney Plus too. But I
yeah,
think
yeah.
they might have been behind.
It was in the first Gulf War. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the last time that the UK did that, by the way.
Yeah,
The last
exactly,
time we-
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, they,
yeah.
they came to realize
Yeah.
that wasn't such a good idea.
Yeah. And they, you know, they also had that American pilot they never found. You know, they never found him. He
Hmm.
got captured, and they found writing on one of the prisons in Iraq on the wall, with his initials, but they never found him. I can't remember his name, but they never found him. Or they found him maybe years later with his bones. But that was something that you drilled. I told guys that in my unit, listen, if you see them carrying me away, fucking shoot, dude. I'd rather you fucking kill me than get fucking tortured or some shit. Like you know, it was a definite fear. That and car bombs. Those two things I was afraid of. Everything
Yeah.
else, no problem. Because, bro, like the car bombs, you're not gonna know, man. There's signs to look for, but like it's like
If they're
anything.
good, then you have no fucking clue.
Yeah, but it's like anything. They're like, oh, you know, you drill for this, you drill for that, man. Listen, when shit hits the fan, you know, you could be a great unit that drills perfectly, but it's always the biggest fucking loudmouths and the biggest fucking yappers that when shit really goes down, they shit themselves.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, somebody shooting at us? What the fuck? You know, like, man, you better, you know? And like I told you guys before, there was a guy in my unit who was just so super religious. He told us, hey, don't send me outside the gate because if things goes down, I can't shoot another human being. Like, what the fuck are you
Why the
doing in the
Why did you
military?
join
Army.
the?
What
Yeah.
the
Why
fuck
did
are
you
you
join
doing?
the army?
He was from the mountains of North Carolina, and I want to say his name, but I won't. And I'll never forget him. That piece of shit. He used to take interpreters that we had at the gate, and they would have these huge discussions about religion, like why Christianity was better than Islam, blah blah blah. We're not allowed to do that.
No, fuck no,
Like,
you're not.
It's against our you know, we're not allowed to, because we're not like what do you call it? Not prophets. Crusaders. That's not what we do.
Yeah.
But he
You're
was
not
like,
on a
no,
mission.
no.
And
He was like, the military's here and my God is here. I have to serve my God first. I'm like, dude, do you know where you are? Like, don't piss off the interpreters. I don't need them coming in here with a fucking
Yeah.
grenade or something, man. I'm
See
trying
him
to go
Yeah.
home.
See him measuring how far it is from the gate to your building.
exactly. Oh, your God's up here. No, no, no,
Oh, you had to look for that.
motherfucker.
You had to look for pacing.
Oh yeah.
That's one of the
Yep.
things they told us you had to look for. One of the biggest things
Oh, yeah.
we were taught when we were there. If you see somebody taking exact steps, look at their mouth. Because most people can't step and count. Try to count and step at the same time without moving your lips. It's for humans, it's tough. Like, give it a go. Just have somebody pay attention. So they actually caught somebody at our base doing that.
Yeah, we had that too.
Yeah, they go from the front gate and they would step it. And they knew if they did the steps, you can calculate based on your steps when you fire a mortar, how close it's going to be or how far away. It's basically ranging yourself on a mortar that's far away. So what they would do to our military bases, they would try to count it, step it. And then they would drive with the car. They'd have the tube in the back of the car. They'd stop real quick. There'd be 4 of them in there. They pull the tube out. They turn it. They try to pace it real quick. And then they get 1 or 2 off. And then they'd fucking drive away. Because we had specialized equipment there that could, you know, it's computerized. It can triangulate exactly where that came from. And then you send out a quick reaction force to try to catch them. But they would pop off 1, 2, maybe 3, and then they'd be fucking out of there. Or they drive by outside the gate and fire an RPG at us.
Oh yeah.
You know, I don't want to bore people with military stories, but it's just some of the shit that soldiers dealt with. And then you wonder why. You know, that's one of the costs of the military. If you want to talk about cost of the military, fuck the money we spent in Afghanistan. It's the money we spent at home with VA, because, you know, people talk about PTSD, but to be honest with you, a lot of the guys that I went with, they just kind of tuck it away, man. It's what I did. Like, there's shit that I saw that I'm guessing a 21, 22, 23-year-old kid probably shouldn't be seeing.
No.
You know, and you come back with it, and like, look, man, I don't want to sit around and I'm not the type of guy who wants people to feel sorry for me. I really don't. It's not my style. But if you want to sit down with me, I can tell you some shit that'll fucking make your skin crawl. You know, we have a buddy. I'm not going to say his name because he's still in the reserves, but he's got a crazier story than I do about a fucking hospital that will make your skin crawl, like Resident Evil type shit. So, yeah, so that's one of the costs from America.
What do you mean Resident Evil? What do you mean Resident Evil type shit?
Well, there was basically a hospital was taken over by terrorists. And they, you know, cut the power off. So, and their dead bodies in the basement. So you can only imagine what that smell was after a few days in the Iraqi heat when it's, you know, 110 outside bacon. Then they cut the power back on, but all these people tried to escape when these terrorists took it over because basically, apparently they were going room for room and just killing people. But once they got the bodies off, they left the machines on. So imagine walking through a hospital, nobody's there, it's completely empty because everybody tried to get out of there. And all you keep hearing is beep, 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 from different fucking machines. And he's like, the lights kept flickering on and off and shit like that, man. It was fucking crazy times.
And you didn't know if there was anybody still there
No,
looking around the corner?
no. So imagine that shit. Or you see your buddy get fucking, somebody you deeply respect get fucking killed, man. Or you know, you fucking come back home on vacation and somebody who took over your job ends up getting his fucking head blown off. And you go back to the Humvee that you're supposed to be in and there's fucking brains caked all over the top of the Humvee. Man, you gotta live with that shit. Yeah, that shit don't go away. You can do whatever you want. It don't go away. Either guys go one of two ways. They either come back from Iraq and they tuck that shit away or work through it, which is the better thing is to work through it. But most guys tuck it away and
Yeah,
they move
most
on
of
with their
them tuck
lives.
it away.
But some guys, what we say in the military, some guys never come back from Iraq. They never come back. They never come back from Afghanistan. They might be physically back, but mentally they're gone, man.
Yep.
People neglect these people. So if you see a veteran, a homeless person, anybody listening to the States, you see a veteran, man, just fucking thank them. That most of us, that's all I want to do. Be like, hey, Dave, man, thanks for your service. I appreciate you. Thank you. You don't have to buy me a beer. You don't have to blow smoke up my ass. You know, you don't have, in fact, you don't have to say shit to me if you don't want to. I'm just saying, but one of the best things that veterans hear is, man, thanks. You know, that's it. You know, I hate to fucking ramble, but it's just something that I'm passionate about. It's under my skin because I know some guys who just never came back, man.
That's something that people kind of forgot after the soldiers came back from World War II. American soldiers, that is. Germans also. I mean, after the war was lost in Germany, a lot of them had PTSD and all kinds
Fuck
of
yeah, they
shit.
did. That's a different type of war.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
So basically, like they came back if they were lucky enough to come back and relocated with their families. There was no such thing as PTSD. People didn't know about
No.
that back then. They're
That's
like,
why it was the greatest generation, man.
like, oh, well, no, it wasn't
That's-
because they had the same problems that people do now. Just like, I mean, spouse abuse wasn't a subject as it is right now, but a lot of pops that came home from World War II went home and started beating their women, which is why this generation or the generation after that was a little fucked up in the mind.
Maybe they should learn how to make coffee better.
Well, maybe they
They
should.
wouldn't get beat.
Maybe they should. Who knows?
Fucking
Um,
hell, Bobby. Fucking hell. Not only that, but let's also talk about the Vietnam soldiers who came back and got spit on like
Yeah.
my father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, like for me, veterans issues is a big deal, and I wish it got more. You know, I always hear people, well, it's a volunteer army. You know what you're getting into. You know what? Some kids don't. They
Right.
really don't. Like
You-
whether you want to say to me whatever the fuck you want to, because I'll smack you in the fucking mouth. So that's just me though. Some guys will take it. I won't. So
that's the thing, man. Like one of my really good friends, he wanted to be a Marine from fucking as long as I can remember, 7 years old. I'm gonna be a Marine. I'm gonna be a Marine. Guess what? He became a Marine. And he said after his second deployment, he goes, I did not sign up for this shit. He goes, it is not, you can prepare yourself your entire life for this.
right.
Go
Yeah.
do it. It's
Yeah.
not, it's fucking not even close.
But this is also something, Bobby, where they talk about now the basic training is softer than what we went through.
Yeah, that's what
I tell you what, man, I am thankful that for the drill sergeants I had who fucking were
Yep.
on my ass, who made me do push-ups, who, you know, it wasn't really, they're like, oh, that's abusive how they're yelling at you. That's fucking not. Did you not have parents?
That's what.
Like,
Here's the thing though, and that's the thing that like that really cracks me up is like, oh, that's abusive. You know what their fucking job is, right? You like they're training to go somewhere
Yeah.
and be shot at.
Yep.
I don't think somebody screaming at them, spitting on them, like fucking like looks like they're about to rupture an eyeball by yelling at them is over the top. Because guess what? It's the whole stress. They have to be able to handle like that kind of stress, but be able to clearly think. Because guess what? That's why that's what's going to bring you home or give
And-
you a better chance at coming home.
And it's also what's going to minimize or minimize collateral damage, because if you have somebody who stays calm under stress, he's not going to go bust a cap
Yeah.
in Grandpa Abdullah who just happens to smoke a cigarette or something.
Exactly. That's
worst.
we said this the other day in one of our groups. I wholeheartedly feel that the police force in America, they need to go through harsher training.
Yes.
Like they need a fucking drill sergeant putting them
Mhm.
finding their threshold of stress
And
and
pushing
just fucking pushing them past it every
Mm.
single day.
it. Yeah.
You have to vet
Guess
people.
what?
But
When that happens, things are gonna be a lot better.
yes, but for that to work, for that whole principle to work, you really have to bump up what they're getting paid for, because you want to attract the people that have these qualities. And I think people that have these qualities deserve to be paid fairly.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this right now. Outside of Cleveland, the one suburb that I grew up in, it's a pretty decent sized city. As a cop, you start off at 75K a year as a cop, and that's one of the cheaper areas.
I think, but there's also a lot of areas in America where that's not even close to the salary.
No,
they
then you
get.
go a few miles further down into Cleveland, and you're making 38,000.
Yeah, and I think that's a big problem. You have to attract a better police officer, and
Yes.
you also have to make sure that you do a little bit better job of make sure that there's things in place that you can't hire through this good old boy system. Like, oh, I know a guy who would make a great cop because he was in the Marines. That don't mean shit. You know how many shitheads we had in the army? Like, I wouldn't fucking trust those guys with my fucking dog. You know,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like, those guys have no business being a cop. I know two
Yep.
guys who are cops right now who have no business being cops at all.
Yep.
So, because I know flat out, you know, I don't want to accuse them of being anything other than what they are, but they're shitheads. That's it. You know, if they got busted for shooting somebody they're not supposed to, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, and you know, nobody wants to hear, you know, excluding Harry, but nobody wants to hear three white guys talk about the police force in America. But I will say this. I agree with you, Harry. There needs to be better training, right?
Yeah.
There needs to be stress put on these people, because as we saw a couple days ago with the young lady who got shot in Ohio, my opinion is, I don't know what I would do in that situation, but you have to try to put yourself in the shoes of somebody, and that's a stressful ass situation.
Yes.
You know, and women, you know, Bobby, you said something really good. Last thing I'll say, is when we were in basic training, we were put under stress.
Yeah.
And stress
Oh, yeah.
and stress and stress. And if you cracked, the drill sergeant would cool off, let you build back up, and then stress you again. That's what they're supposed to do.
Exactly. There's a method to
Yeah.
that madness, and we
Yeah.
have forgotten that.
Yeah.
We are raising a generation, like we're pussifying everybody, and that's the problem.
We had long ruck marches, and we would make fun of the guys who didn't make it all the way through.
I'm
So-
glad that you laughed at that, Chris.
Yeah. Man, the fuck is that on the chat? God damn it. Chris, that's why we can't have nice things. No, but yeah, we make fun of those people, and it built those people up, and they made it through. You know, that's
Yeah.
it is what, you know, whatever. But yeah, it's
Hazing
not,
used to help too.
yeah.
What?
Hazing.
Hitting somebody
Yeah.
with a bag of soap. Yeah, filling up
Exactly.
a bag with.
They learned.
A rubber
They
fist in
learned.
your butt is
Let me
definitely
not do that
something that
again.
can bring you home.
Yeah, we did some fun stuff, but you know, it is what it is.
It's
Like we
just like
said,
blood rank.
yeah.
Blood rank back in the day, that was like a rite to passage. And now they actually will ask you, is it okay if I hit you? Or afterwards, let's go into the office.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know what a blood rank is, Bobby?
No, that was my question.
Okay. So blood rank is back in the day with the BDUs, the rank used to be up on top.
On your collar.
And you
So
would
people
have-
can't see it, Chris. You gotta.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got
Sorry.
people- yeah.
On the collar.
It would be right on your
Um,
collarbone.
You would have the backs of the pins, what we would call dammits, you would leave those off. So it was basically just the rank with these pins. And then everyone that was of that rank and higher would come over and slap you on your collarbone.
And it was a rite of passage. And trust me, feels good.
Oh yeah.
So, but it was a thing, man. You felt like, okay, this is gonna hurt, but it's my way of moving on. And you know, I wouldn't want somebody to ask me now, hey Dave, is it okay if I punch your rank into you? What the fuck?
Dude, when I got promoted, I told my wife to.
Oh,
Told her
shit,
to
you're
what?
serious.
Nobody's
to
that
hit me.
serious.
No, I'm dead serious. No, like, because she asked, she goes, well, what do I do now? I'm like, so what you're going to do is you're going to put the rank on and you're going to hit me in my chest.
Oh, it's in
And
the middle of the
Finger
chest
his
now.
butt.
There were some people that were standing there that were new to the military that were looking kind of shocked, especially when my buddy that's a older soldier like Dave and I immediately hit me too.
Yeah, it's a different army. It's a different army.
Oh yeah.
Sweet.
Couple more years and I'm retiring.
Yeah, but it was. I miss those times. I'll be honest with you guys. I miss them. I fucking miss them. And
I
love
wish
all,
it would have stayed like that.
and I love all those guys I served with, and you know, crazy guys, all of them. But they'll be brothers for life. That's for sure. I say
Yep.
brothers for life because I didn't have any females in our unit, so we were a combat unit.
Oh, we had females too.
Yeah,
They're,
so-
one of them, her nickname was Frank the Tank.
Is it any
Is that
different?
just because of how many guys she can carry around inside her? Sorry, I had to. Like you set it up, dude. I had to. I'm sorry.
No, what the hell was that? What the hell
Let me
was that
ask you-
movie? Old School, right?
Yeah. Let me
Yeah.
ask you something, Chris. Because you had females in your unit.
Yeah.
When you were in Iraq, what was your bump up scale? Do you know what I'm referring to?
I know what you're talking about. So if they were here, like let's say general at a 5, so
Let's
right
go
in the middle.
Let's go baseline 5. Okay.
In Iraq, they would instantly, I wouldn't say instantly,
Oh,
After
that's
a
an 8 or
month.
a 9, dude.
after a month, they would jump up to an 8.
Solid 8.
After,
Solid
Air
8.
Traffic
after
Control
3
Academy.
months, after
same
3
thing.
months, you're just like, oh, you're a 1 in Germany. Well, guess what? Now you're a 7. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
You might have a dick, but fuck it. Pull
Okay.
it back. Let's do this.
Like when you see her naked the first time, you're like, you were supposed to be a boy, right?
I've
Um,
never humped a surfboard. Let's do it.
I know we had. I believe we had 0 females on our compound. 0.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to ask Chris.
That's because
On a serious note, if you're like ambushing something or you're doing recon or whatever, you're in a combat group and you have females there, do you feel like distracted, like you have to protect them a little more than
I
you have to
didn't.
protect guys?
I didn't. So, okay. So the ones that were not our mechanics, I didn't feel like I needed to protect them because we all knew what we were doing. Now, mechanics, we had a female mechanic that was with us one night, and I actually feared for my life. I was up in the turret, so in the middle of the vehicle with the upper half of my body sticking out, and we were told to turn off the lights, and this chick killed the motor. So now,
no.
I'm up there just looking around like, oh, please don't let anything happen right now.
Yeah.
So they started again, and she did it again. She did it like 2 or 3 times until I finally radioed and asked for someone from my platoon to take over the driver's seat because I was not going to stay in the gunner's hatch.
Hmm.
I will tell you this: the female soldiers that we have in the United States Army are trained just the way we are.
Yeah.
I think for a long time, America's had this thing where we want to protect our female soldiers because of obvious reasons. You don't want females being captured by the enemy for
Yeah, of course.
obvious reasons. We can all think about what could possibly happen, but the female soldiers that we do have, I've read tons of articles about going through Ranger training, everything else. Those ladies can hang with all of us. They can shoot just as well as we can.
Yep.
And let me tell you something. There are some females who suck at shooting, who are shitty soldiers. On the same token, there are plenty of males
Badass.
who
Yeah.
can't shoot and who suck just as much.
Yeah.
So I have
Oh yeah.
I was in a couple convoys with female soldiers who had an M16 just like I did, who I felt could protect themselves just as well. Do I think if something went down, would my unit have tried to protect them more? Maybe, but I think that's just sometimes as men, that's our instinct, and I don't
Yes,
think we.
and that's what I
I don't
wanted
think
to
we
get
mean it
to.
as a downer. I don't think we mean it as a downer to any female whatsoever.
Right, right. Not saying that they
Right.
needed, that they required that protection. I'm just saying that we're at a generation where the core values are just starting to switch. Like we still, especially when you're like raised in the South, you have that Southern influence. Like we're raised to respect and protect females. It's not a systemic thing. It's just the way we're raised. Like we hold
Right.
doors for females. We don't expect doors to get held for us. I mean, it's nice if they do, but you don't expect
I
it.
would feel weird if they did. I'll be honest. That's just I grew up in the South, so I'd be kind of weird if like, oh, let me open the door. Let me pull out your chair for you, Dave. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And since we're trained to think that, and we're trained to act that way. I'd say that like in a combat situation, like, oh shoot, I'll carry that gun for you. You know, that kind of thing. You know,
Yeah.
just because it's
So
automatic.
talking about that, I actually had that experience. That was an eye opener for me. We had a female that was trying to put a 50 cal, so it's a really heavy machine gun that we have, trying to put it on top of one of our tracked vehicles that we have.
Just
And I
a
asked her-
side point. That's the same machine gun we used to shoot down planes in World War II. Just so you get
Yep.
an idea of how heavy it could be. It was mounted on wings. So yeah.
So I asked her if she wanted me to help her put it up there, and she was smaller than me. I would say she was maybe
That's pretty
5'2"?
fucking small. It's pretty fucking small then.
5'2" or so. And she told me, she goes, "No, I've got this," and then just chucks this fucking thing up there like it was nothing. I'm like, all right.
You the
Way
man.
to emasculate them.
Exactly.
No, but I would just, honestly, I think you're right, Harry. Especially since at that time for me it was 2003 to 2004, and I think that definitely, I think everybody knew where the females were in our convoy. If I'm honest, I think they could have defended themselves, but I think that you definitely, because most of the times they were medics that were with us. To
Right.
be fair, there wasn't. In fact, I don't think it was allowed for females to be in combat.
No, not
At
at
that time, no.
Yeah.
At that time, no.
But I think that they can definitely do the job. I think that, we have to get past that, that look, whether people want to admit it or not, I don't fucking care. Men are naturally stronger than women. It's fucking biology. But a lot of times women think a little better than we do under pressure. I don't want to say always, but I'm saying a lot of them do. A lot of times, look, I've seen some guys who were gung-ho PT studs, which means they could run a mile, they could lift everything. When shit hit the fan, they were not mentally there. Like they were not, so everybody can look good in training. Everybody can look good running around laps, doing a 2-mile run. Everybody can do 50 push-ups. When shit hits the fan, that's when you see who's the man or the woman, however you want to say it. So, okay, enough stories from Dave. Moving on.
I do that at work though too, Dave. Like the what you said about the people with the biggest mouth. It's
Yeah.
like that on the civilian side too. We've got people, they have such a huge mouth, and I'm just like, I don't want it to happen, but I would love for something to happen at the gates and see you just lose your shit. Because I
Yeah.
know that you will not have the
Like,
expertise or any way of knowing what to do.
do some of the soldiers, like, say they're coming back and they're a little tipsy or whatever, they fuck with you guys?
Oh, we've had that before too, and they get arrested.
Okay.
I took a dude's Jordans one night. But that's the old school in me too. Instead of getting the MPs involved and
Sounds like
just being-
Cincinnati as fuck. Jesus
just listen.
Christ.
So we were working night shift and they came back. This was way before Corona started. And we have these automatic booths where you don't actually come to us. We see you through a camera, you slide your ID card, do all this stuff, and then you enter the post. And outside, we saw them actually hit one of the females.
Oh,
And so me and my other supervisor that night just took off. We're like, okay, you're going inside, I'm going outside. Went down there, and of course, the guys just scattered. And one of them, of course, didn't have his Jordans tied and ran out of his Jordans and kept running. So I'm like, okay, before I get the MPs involved, the military police, I'm not gonna ruin everyone's weekend. I'll do this my way. Picked up his Jordans. It's like, hey, if you want your shoes back, come up to the main gate and we can talk. And long story short, we ended up having to get the MPs involved because he told one of my guards, oh, are you gonna go tell your wife that I'm here to get my shoes? And this was one of my male guards talking about me. I'm like, okay. And my patient's cord has just been cut. I'm not dealing with this shit anymore. And they ended up coming, the MPs. They arrested them. One of them kept talking, and you could hear the MPs going, didn't I just tell you to sit down and shut the fuck up? I'm like, all right, cool.
yeah. I had one run-in with MPs once. It was not fun.
Oh yeah, you told us that.
Not fun.
Yeah, but that's like actually surprising too at that point, because normally, like the old school with what Dave and I remember when we first got here, and before that, the MPs, man, you did not want to fuck with them here.
Before we get off here, because we're running into our Goldilocks zone, I just want to show you what dum-dums, when we first got to Iraq, rode around as. Like we were fucking Rambo.
Oh yeah, you take the fucking doors off.
Yeah. But I just wanted to show you that. If you look at the roads there, that's an oil spill. Iraqi didn't clean that up. Actually, what I'm thinking is something happened there, because if you look in the left there corner, you will see an Iraqi police car, which is that's right there.
Yep.
Oh shit, that's in Iraq?
Yeah, that's
I thought that's Frankfurt. Fuck.
No. No, but you'll see we took it off because it was so fucking hot. But then you start to realize, oh shit, they're using IEDs. It's probably a good thing to have a door. Literally, when we first went over there, they took our Humvees from Germany and shipped them over there. Woodland colors they don't work well in a desert environment. And so we used our own armor, or the best we could. Sometimes we like taped and like pinned up flak jackets to the side of the doors. We put
5-gallon water jugs,
sandbags on the floor. And then we used scrap metal that we found, and we would weld that to the doors. What we didn't realize is the more metal you put on a Humvee, the more strain you put on an engine in 110-degree weather. Yeah. Wondering like, man, why don't this thing get up, man? Because it's fucking heavy as shit. So, I mean, crazy times, man. It was a crazy time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Wouldn't trade it for the world, though. Wouldn't take that 15 months back at all.
Mm-mm.
It's 15 months, man. 15 months. Think about when Corona started. You know, that's this. If we go back 15 months, it's January of 2020. Corona wasn't even a thing yet. So that tells you how fucking long I was in Iraq. Chris as well. You were there for the whole tour.
We were, we were there before that became a norm.
Yeah. It's nuts, man. It's fucking nuts. But I wouldn't take it back.
Mm-mm.
To make a long story short, Biden probably should not pull the troops out of Afghanistan. I think it's a bad idea. I think it's going to create kind of a vacuum. And I think we're going to have problems from there for many years to come. my thoughts.
Oh, why's that? We had a peace contract with the Taliban now. What could go wrong?
Get out of here, man. Get out of here. So I hope I'm wrong. Honestly, I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Afghani people can get it together. I hope that place turns into a prosperous country. But I sadly don't think so with Pakistan next door. I think India is really going to feel the brunt of it, but that's just me. So, yeah, don't mean to sound smart, but sometimes I am. Just sometimes. Woo! All right, guys. I think we're running to the border here.
Yeah, I think
Anybody
that's
got
it, man.
anything else?
This is a super long. We're like, we got to be close to 2. We're pushing 2.
Yeah, we're pushing 2, but only officially about 120.
I still have to shave.
The fuck? For what?
Army training tomorrow.
Don't, man. Don't shave. Go in like you are.
Yeah.
Pretend you forgot. Be like, what?
Oh,
That's why I'm so glad I wasn't in anymore. Thank God. I hated
I
shaving.
can't hear you.
Look like a retarded turtle when I shave. I can't do it. Kids make fun of me. I'm not gonna do that. I really do look like a turtle though when I shave. Not happening.
Dude, I cannot
You
hear
don't see Bobby
anyone.
shaving.
It's awesome.
Yeah, Chris,
Chris
is having
can't
sound
hear us.
problems.
Okay, I can hear Bobby.
Chris, you can hear us?
I can hear you.
Good for you.
All right.
All right,
I
guys, let's wrap it up. Let's
think,
put a bow on
yeah,
it.
this
Yeah,
is
time to
it.
wrap up.
So thanks for listening, guys. Give us a like,
Cheers.
share, subscribe. You know where to find us, and we will be back next week.
Will we though?
Take care.
Bye.
Smooches.